Hi, Aries. Oh. Oh. Okay. Hello. Hi, Aries. How you doing? I was just about to say I'm glad I'm doing your reading because I feel like killing everybody, so it's perfect. I was going to be smug, but obviously you're ahead of me here, which is also not a surprise. So, let's go with that, shall we? The Emperor and the King of Swords feeling quite sharp. Aries, Uranus is back and it is like hungry. It wants cardinal fire, war. King of Swords, cruelty, but also the truth, sudden truth about people in positions of power, things being revealed, the law becoming tyrannical, rulers becoming tyrannical, charged atmosphere. I know you can feel it. Everybody can feel it. Makes you want to hang on tight to anything you know. How close you got to get to see that guy? Here? You'll see them when I show you the cards. The Emperor, you yourself first up. So things are moving very fast. King of Swords, if there's an air energy in your life, they're coming up as super harsh. But you want to hang on. If it's you, if Uranus moving back into Aries has made you super sharp, you may be trying to hold on to some people you pushed away, some people you were too harsh to, some people you let down. Knight of Cups. Perhaps you would like to make some amends. Perhaps there are people who would like to make some amends towards you. It is, of course, a time of healing. If there is a water sign that you're interested in, being receptive is a good idea right now. If they like you, they'll come looking for you. But this Four of Pentacles is a bit troublesome because it's not rest, but it's immobility. And I know how much that irritates you guys. So whatever gets you moving this month, just in your body, might be a good idea. Without becoming aggressive about it. Like, don't take anything on right now that you become so vigilant about and so strict about that you forgot why you're doing it. Whether it's a school project or a relationship or a work thing, doesn't matter. Don't become so Aries focused on something that you forget that you actually like doing it. You seem confused. There's so much to move on from. And now this drag into the past, who you used to be, sucks. I sympathize. But it's also, for some of you, it's not really about you this month. It's about other people learning how to love you, but not because you're telling them, but because they're just realizing stuff about you that you couldn't have ever explained to them because you didn't really know yourself. It's complicated. People are having aha moments with you where they're just realizing what you need and what they haven't been able to give you, even though you've asked, but they've never really understood why you needed it. And now they just are waking up, so many of them, and going, whoa, that's what you need. Okay, I can do that. And it may seem like, I don't know, maybe it's too late. Four of Pentacles, being stubborn, maybe it doesn't matter anymore. But get used to it. People are going to see you more and more as you really are, and they will want to make amends. There's a lot of people who feel like reaching out, but I think you're not ready. I don't think you're quite ready for anything. It's been jarring, this Uranus moving back. It can be a really unpleasant electric buzz. You know, like being really buzzed or like drunk and tired at the same time. It's just very disconcerting. You know, you have a lot going on anyway, and then this like Uranus retrograde is just it's heavy, man. So yeah, you're not ready, and unlike Pisces, I don't think that you need to be pushed out the door. You're just not ready. You're financially going to be better off than I believe you think you will. Excuse me. Aries has a tendency, it's ginger ale. Aries has a tendency to think everything is wrong when the love life or the love life for Aries is like friends, family, everyone, when their love life isn't going well, or when there's healing being done, or when there's some wounds that you can't quite seem to heal on your own, and they're waiting there for someone to get what they did or how they wronged you. Normally I'd say you'll be waiting forever. You'll be waiting a long time, but this Mercury retrograde may surprise you. The timing of it after the Venus retrograde, it may have worked on people in a way that will surprise you. That will surprise you. Uranus. It's just that uncomfortable buzz, and you never know what that shocking sudden thing will be, but I think here it's very positive. Maybe Aries is a little shell-shocked and on their guard, you know, Emperor, King of Swords, like I'm watching you, you know. But and I of course I get why, just with everything that's been going on. But I think these new shocks, and I know you're not ready at all to receive them and you're not into it, you know, we see that, but I think they're positive. I think the ones that were just shocking, just to be shocking, that was all when it was actually in your sign. Remember, now it's just about teaching you what you already learned. Just a recap. Bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune, and then the Strength card. So Leo coming up pretty prominent in a lot of the readings. If you are involved with a Leo, their luck seems to be turning ever more for the better. So in terms of finances, if you're aligned with a Leo somehow, that's going really well and will continue to do really well. But also, it may be from them that the shocking news comes. The good shocking news. Whether it builds your esteem, your love life, or your wealth, it will somehow generate great good fortune for you. Very nice, we like that. Now, look again here at this Four of Pentacles, this King of Cups situation here. I understand feeling stuck because there's a certain way people need to instinctively love you like you instinctively love. I understand not being able to get past that point, because you can't tell people how to love you. And I also get that the energy is very lucky right now and that you'll get that understanding from people. But the energy won't always be that lucky. And perhaps instead of just taking this as dumb luck, like, yay, people are getting it, maybe the way it will serve you best is to let them come to the conclusion on their own. They'll begin to love you the way you need to be loved. And maybe somewhere in there you can also extend an understanding to them and others that will come in the future who may not have this insight or this planetary arrangement to get to see this, right? Maybe you can have a bit more understanding and compassion for them as they try to figure out how best to love you. Because I'm sure people try hard, but it's not always that they're trying to love you. Usually with an Aries, they're working against the ghost of something that wounded you, something that happened that you haven't been able to pull that thorn out of your heart somehow, right? And so anyone who's trying to love you, whether they have these aha moments this season or whether you meet them, 5 years from now, anyone trying to love you, if they have a bit of your compassion and understanding, in just that they'll never be as instinctual as you can be, and they may never get it completely right, but that their intentions were in the right place and are in the right place. I think you'll be able to see that distinction this season, where people genuinely express to you like, oh, I finally get it. This is what you need, or this is what you were saying that I couldn't understand, or yeah, you're totally right about that. How did I not see that before? And you'll see like, wow, this is just a person who didn't get it. So the next time you meet someone who doesn't get it, maybe instead of just writing those people off, as Aries can do, and I'm not saying you should give everyone a chance or anything like that. I'm just saying that sometimes someone comes along who just doesn't know how to love you, and it's not because they want to be cruel to you, and it's not because they're horrible and that they want to hurt you. They're trying to live up to what perhaps you don't realize is a very tall order. And it's a very tall order, and it's very specific. So I think this season will teach you compassion for the misstep, compassion for those who don't know how to do it exactly right, in as few steps as possible. Kind of the Aries way, right? Quick, efficient, get it done right though. And most everybody else's love language just doesn't work that way. So you can often find yourself feeling really hurt and taking it really personal when people aren't able to deliver. I think this month will leave you more healed from that. And I don't think you'll ever feel quite as misunderstood as you may have up until now. Something strange that happens when Uranus is done and comes back and then leaves again. I feel like by March you will feel so seen in a good way. It's really exciting. Your life is beginning again. And you can see things with this 360 sort of view. In NLP, one of the things you can do that brings a lot of calm to the brain is you can go back to a memory that the brain has a hard time forgetting. It can be something from your past. It can be some point of abuse, something that the brain is stuck on and keeps going back to because it doesn't make sense. Why did this happen? A momentary, a memory of violence as a child, whatever it is that your brain you have a tendency to recall this thing. So in NLP, you can go back to that moment, freeze it with all the characters there. And then you go as your adult self to each of those people, including your child self or teenage self or what have you. And you identify with that person, even someone who may be the aggressor in the situation, and say, okay, well, from this point of view, from where I'm from in the future, however you phrase it to yourself, I can see that you were just an overworked mom, or you were just a lost teenager, or you were just a bad drunk, or you were, not excusing the behavior, but I can also see from your side that you were going through this. And although you may have meant what you did, I can also see that this and this and this was going on in your life. And you can go to yourself in the situation, the child you or the teenage you or whoever it is, and say, listen, first of all, you're going to be okay. Just know that I'm you all grown up. You're all right. But also, that person that you're dealing with looks like this scary adult, but actually they're like this scared person just like you, and they're going through this and this and this, and they don't know what they're going to do. And that has nothing to do with you. But yes, right now it's being taken out on you. And then you go to the other person in the situation and you say something like, oh, I don't know. I know you feel helpless in the situation, but just know that, and blah, blah, blah. So what you do is you take a 360 look at that memory, right? And what you end up doing is you end up tying all these loose ends up. So the next time your brain tries to get stuck on that particular wheel because it's used to doing it for so long, something that the brain gets stuck on because it doesn't make sense. Well, now it makes sense. You've gone and made sense of it through compassion, through visualization and through compassion. And those loose ends get tied up. So when the loose ends get tied up, the brain doesn't get stuck on that anymore. When it doesn't get stuck on that anymore, that part of the brain begins to heal itself, right? That part of the mind begins to heal itself. In the same way, I feel that your shocking, lucky moments that have everything to do with self are going to create some NLP 360 healing for you, if you get that. You get to look at what were probably some of the most tumultuous years you'll ever have and see from every point of view what it was and how it was, and with no blame, with no shame, with no Aries, I could have done it better, I should have done it better. No, you lose all that this season. It's too abstract for that kind of guilt. This is straight up insight, intelligence, improvement, self-improvement. That's the name of this game now. From now until March, you can learn so much about yourself if you want to, and just come out a completely new and improved version of you. It'll still be you, but a version of you that is really, really hyper aware of the most important things, like value, self-worth, and for the Emperor to get a real handle on compassion. I can see how that could require all of this. Sure. Maybe it's, after all, the only way through. Maybe the most shocking thing ever is doing that sort of 360 work. Because when the aggressor, when the soldier, when the Martian energy loses someone to fight against, then what? When you can understand everyone's position in a situation and no one is the enemy anymore, then what? Then what does Aries do? Right? I think we've talked about this before, considering it's Thanksgiving. In Native American culture, the warriors were the ones who took care of the fields and built the fences and, watched the children and painted the houses, later on when it became reservation living, because that's what you do in your downtime. That's what the American Indian movement did in their downtime. They protected people. So I think it's a pretty rad time to go from being a soldier to a protector, Really? That's where it freezes? What I was saying was when you stop fighting the world and start protecting it. I feel like Uranus had you fighting the world for years. And now it's got you all opened up so you can see everything, Virtual 360. And I think you'll walk out of this in March going, man, I love everything. I love everything around me. I love everything I'm doing. I love all the people around me. I love everything that's going on for me. Because you'll just understand everything so much more. It's really exciting. I get the King of Swords and the Emperor now. It's, you are changing in the realm of the mind. It's very cool. Of course, I think it's cool. It's not the most Aries energy, though. It's interesting. Sag season is good for you guys. Especially with the Uranus retrograde, it's great for you guys. Intelligence on tap. Use it. Use it for what matters most to you. And I'm not saying that as a dig. Use it for you. It's a good time to do it. So you got the full moon reading. That makes me happy. Let's look at these cards. I'll see you in a second, okay? I love you. Hi, Aries. As you can see, it's an interesting time for you. There's a lot of facts. There's a lot of not wanting to face the facts. There will also be some distraction. But ultimately, these chaotic moments have to be re-examined. And the benefit to self has to be found, and it will. If you're in the midst of the Tower energy right this minute, your emotions are all over the place, realize that you are very much in control and that everything is happening according to what you would like. It may just be happening, and this is going to sound crazy, may just be happening a little too fast for you. Maybe fast is the wrong word. Sudden. Might just be too sudden for you. Because even the tying up of the loose ends is sudden. It's just the nature of the planet. But so will the turnaround and the great good fortune. In terms of money, you may have felt like there's a glass ceiling you just haven't been able to break, and that it's been this way for a long time. Yeah, probably about 7 years. But now a new energy comes in, finally replacing, even surprise antics and sudden stuff can become routine because you can predict the unpredictable, almost like we know something crazy is going to happen. After all, I just get numb to it. Like, okay, another crazy thing. Now that you know it's leaving, and it's leaving for at least 80 years or so, and won't be back around until you're 80, perhaps it will compel you to finally let go of something that you may have been trying to let go of for years, at least 4. And every time you tried to work your way out of it, it would come back magically, almost on its own. So now Uranus has you looking back at the last 7 years, and it's pitting what you've done and what's happened up against your worth. And on the other hand, up against what your worth should be. And the equalizing that ensues with the insight and the knowledge you've gained, and how that ultimately affords you a lot of good luck. A sense of renewal, a sense of bravery and optimism, and moving forward. In the extended, I'd like to clarify the Emperor and the King of Swords, but also our friend the water sign here, who seems, if this is a new person, to be fairly serious. Let's see. Let's not jump ahead. But I love the equalizing going on down here. Of course, we'll clarify the Tower. And if you were dealing with a Leo and they're asking you to travel, it might be a great idea. Then again, if it's a Leo that you don't trust, don't even hang out with them right now. But if it's a Leo you like, travel would be great. So after we clarify those cards, and we'll get into, your messages of work and love, especially abroad. After we clarify all that, then we'll read till the bottom of the deck. All right. The extended is up on Vimeo, or will be. I'm doing it now. And tomorrow night is the members only live stream where we do a 2-hour question and answer online satsang. And if you are a member of the channel, you can join the chat conversation and I'll answer your questions. In the About tab, you can find more information on becoming a member, or a lot of people are having trouble getting the links to work depending on the operating system that you are on. So the easiest thing would be to Google how to become a member of a YouTube channel, and then according to your operating system, type that in and it'll give you a fairly easy direction. Anyway, the satsangs are pretty cool. They're super fun, actually. It's like the events that I have all over, except it's online. The format's the same. The vibe is the same, pretty much. Speaking of the live events, I've redone my website. So you can book readings via Chatalize on the site. I do those every Friday, and you deal directly with Chatalize. You pay through them, you schedule through them. I don't have to do anything, and you don't really deal with me at all until the reading. You can book a reading through the website. You can check out new merchandise. There should be a merchandise shelf scrolling by underneath this video as well. New logo, new merch, just t-shirts and sweatshirts and all kinds of cool stuff. I've created a podcast related limited edition hoodie called the Vector Heart, and you can see the back of it on the merchandise site, but if you click on it and you can see the front, it's a vector shape made into a heart, and it's to be used in tandem with a vector heart meditation. That's on the podcast. Link to the podcast is also on the channel, on the website. So everything has been put on there. So check it out. I'll do the extended now, and then I'll see you, as crazy as it is to say, I'll see you in January. It's so crazy. It's going to be your season before you know it. Let's start prepping. I love you. I'll see you in a minute.